What's going on, FN Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS podcast and live stream recording here for Tuesday's 8-game main slate. James, we broke down Monday's slate. We had some pretty great calls. We had, once again, at least on your lineups, the injury bug just continues to roll itself along. Basically, I think as long as you keep Chris Duarte out of your lineups moving forward, you probably will be a little bit okay. Last night, Duarte leaves with the injury. A few nights earlier, he nearly had negative fantasy points going into halftime. The man has all the opportunities in the world to get things done, does not get things done.
Thankfully, John, Indiana not on the slate tonight.
Not on the slate tonight. That is true. Detroit is on the slate tonight.
Killian Hayes also, by the way, they reported after he checked back in, but he left with an apparent leg injury. Also had Killian Hayes in my lineup. He also left the game with an injury. So we're averaging two injuries a night. Is that possible? Is that possible for a DFS lineup?
I mean, definitely possible. Unlucky for sure. Definitely possible. So we have Detroit that's on a back-to-back second leg here. Milwaukee is on a back-to-back. Phoenix is on a back-to-back. So we'll be interested to see if there's anybody sitting out. Am I missing any other teams on back-to-backs here? We did have 7 games.
No, I'm looking to see right now to see if OKC is on the front end.
Right.
They've been playing SGA on the front end of back-to-backs, but you never know. I guess you never know with OKC, right? They could just be like, could just be a decision they make. Like, yeah, let's just rest them on the first leg.
Right.
We do have a Spurs slate, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Said no one ever. No back-to-back for OKC.
So we should be expecting 38 minutes out of SGA against Brooklyn tonight. That's good.
Did you say Phoenix? You said Phoenix?
I did. Phoenix and Milwaukee are on back-to-backs. Yeah,
okay.
They run up against one another here. I mean, we had some good calls last night. Trae Young we talked about him for like 5 minutes, absolutely dominating that matchup, even though they got blown out.
Well, he brought them back. Yeah. He brought them back single-handedly, and then no one else could do anything.
Yeah, nobody else could score for them. Giannis, we were in on. So, again, we had some successes last night. Obviously, roster construction's like 99% of the game. You can get the right player pool, but if you don't put the pieces of the puzzle together correctly, then you move on to the next day. So that's what we got. We got 8 games here. Top price players on tonight's slate: Giannis, Jokic, AD, Dame, Booker up over 10K as well. So it should be a fun slate to kind of build around. We know there's going to be some injury news certainly to come around throughout the day here. And as you mentioned, we got a couple of aggro teams here when it comes to lineups, injuries, player statuses. So stay tuned in the Discord for all of that updates as we roll along throughout the day. James, that said, let's kick it off here with some top spreads. What do we got? Any top high totals that we should be keying in on here tonight?
Nothing like astronomically high. Like yesterday, we had 2 games over 240. Today, moderate totals. Orlando, San Antonio, 233.5. Orlando giving 5 to the Spurs on the road. 233 in Milwaukee, Phoenix. That's probably the best basketball game of the night, like real life basketball. Sure. Milwaukee 2-point favorites in Phoenix. Knicks, Portland 227.5. We have Brooklyn, OKC 233.5. The biggest line currently, Washington has moved to a 12.5-point favorite. You just got to assume everyone that didn't play for Detroit last night probably doesn't play again tonight. Mm-hmm. I know officially Ivy, Bogdanovic, and Alec Burks are all
out.
Not out. But like Ivy's in COVID protocol. Bojan, they've like flirted with the idea of shutting him down for the year. Mm-hmm. And Burks, what's the point of bringing him back, right? Like, so assume we get the same Detroit roster. So 12.5-point spread's big there. They're terrible. They looked good last night against Indiana, but Indiana had nobody else.
Right.
Like, Indiana had nobody. Washington dealing with the Kuzma injury, but like still like fighting for playoff positions. They are jockeying with the Bulls for the 10th seed, so they're fighting for the play-in game there. So they still have a lot to play for. 12.5-point spread doesn't really surprise me, but nothing else stands out. I mean, Denver, even seeing Denver Toronto at 226.5 is kind of surprising, just given how good Toronto's been defensively.
Yeah, we saw this game recently. That was a game where Jokic took just 8 shots in that one there, and Denver won that 118-113 in that game.
It is worth mentioning, though, he might need to take more if Reggie Jackson and Jamal Murray both sit tonight. So there's there's a chance we get vintage Jokic, but yeah, we've said it a bunch of times.
With an injury? No, I guess he's okay. I thought he left with an injury the other day.
No, he got ejected.
Okay.
That was like the Zach Collins. He grabbed Zach Collins' neck. Like you can't do that.
Can't do that. All right, let's get into it. Point guard here. Dame Lillard's your top price guard against the Knicks here. He is questionable to play with a calf injury. Of course, Dame continues to play exceptionally well. Will be a spot where I don't ever tell you not to play Dame Lillard. But again, as we move down the point guard spot, much like we wanted to just lock in Trae Young at 9,400 yesterday, I feel like we're going to want to just lock in SGA at 9,400 here today, knowing that likely, we could be wrong, anything is possible at this point in the year when it comes to the NBA, especially with the Oklahoma City Thunder, that he could get some sort of minutes limitation here, but $9,400 for SGA feels just kind of like a wheelhouse play for us here to kind of just set in the point guard spot, because we know there's also some middle range guys that we're going to be looking at as well. We continue to play Dinwiddie, we like McCollum, there are other guys in the mid tier that I like that I don't think we need to spend up for Lillard here. I think we can start at SGA. Not to say you can't build around Lillard, but I think he'll be lower rostered on this slate because of the guard position's depth overall.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting with Dame because it's not just Dame that's questionable. Jeremy Grant is also questionable. And they only played Nurkic 10 minutes last game. And I know there was a random blowout, but he only played 5 minutes in the first half. So, It wasn't as if they were like, all right, we're just like, he just didn't play. Right. So like, if you're not going to play Nurkic and Jeremy Grant's not in and Dame plays, then I think it's a different conversation because you're taking.
But they still have Anthony Simons though, so I mean.
Yeah, but he's going to defer to Dame.
He took 22 shots against Philly.
I'm not saying he's but we're talking about Damian Lillard. I know he took 22 shots against Philly. But, that, no Grant, no Nurkic. Even if Simons did take 22 shots, who says Dame doesn't take 25 shots? Sure. I mean, they're without 2 of their highest usage players. So
I just don't find myself wanting to spend up for him when Davis, Jokic, and Giannis are all on the slate.
It's not wrong.
If Simons was to sit and it was like the Dame show by himself against the Knicks, then I would be more inclined to, I think.
I just don't want to overlook the fact that Dame has had as much upside as almost all those other guys too. He's gone for 70 plus a boatload of times, and you know what?
He went for 70 actual. So I mean,
yes, that is correct. And he's $1,100 cheaper than Jokic, $1,500 cheaper than Giannis, and I think both those guys are better plays. I'm just saying there's a bunch of guys potentially out for Portland, including Dame. He might not even play, but he would definitely be in my player pool. But ultimately, you're right. SGA is definitely the better per dollar spend. I mean, I don't understand why he's this price because he's been 10K essentially the entire season. Yeah. Since November, he has been 10K or 97 and up.
Yeah.
Are we just getting this price because he's sitting games? That doesn't make sense because when he plays, he's playing full complement of minutes.
Right. He was 92 against the Pelicans, which
just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So for me, it's SGA is the lock-in top guy. Again, I said to you, agree, Lillard's in my player pool. If I want to be different or I'm making multiple lineups, sure, get some exposure to him here. We like going at the Knicks guard spot, so it's not as if it's a bad matchup for him either. But if Portland is down all of those guys, you do have to worry about the Knicks potentially, running with that game as well. So 10-5, if you want to go there, fine. I like him locking in SGA here. And then again, I move down into that McCollum, Dinwiddie, D'Angelo Russell, Isaiah Quickly, if there's no Brunson. I'd play Brunson probably against Portland if he was active. I mean, this middle range is where a lot of guys I kind of like are.
Yeah, so Brunson's unlikely to play.
Okay.
They announced that They said like Sunday when he missed the game, I think, or Saturday. They said he's probably not going to play the next game either. I don't hate Van Vliet. I'm not, you know, that worried about a 3-for-9 shooting performance. It's a pretty good game environment for Van Vliet there. Don't hate that. I also don't hate Rozier, point guard only. I know it's a tough spot, but he just went for 47 against Cleveland the other day. Mm-hmm. He's now gone for 47, 48, 50 fantasy points in 3 straight games. We know he's going to play big minutes, so I don't hate those guys. But
no LaMelo Ball, we get 20-shot Rozier. That's what we like.
I know. It's something we've been saying all year because we haven't had LaMelo Ball all year.
A lot.
I do like CJ McCollum. I'll like him a little less if Ingram is back. I know Ingram is questionable. Yeah, questionable. So I would probably downgrade McCollum a bit. Garland, we know, has upside. Dinwiddie, price is getting up there, but back-to-back 50 bombs.
That's what I'm saying. The guys out here just bombing away here.
Dude, and they're playing. We've been saying it since the trade. Like, they're just playing these guys huge minutes. Mm-hmm. Like, 38-plus minutes in 3 of the last 4 games. And each of those games, he's gone for 50.
If it wasn't for the blowout against Houston, he probably plays another 8 minutes there. Yep. He might get 50 fantasy points.
He might get 50 fantasy points, yep. Yeah, Brooklyn's just a fun team. And your D'Lo has been awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Last 2 games, he's been the best player on the Lakers, better than Anthony Davis. And then I have no problem getting to quickly who's going to start against a really bad Portland defense without Brunson.
And probably a lower roster play because of Dinwiddie and Russell being in that same 7K range. Russell being the direct pivot, quickly might be the lower roster guy there.
I guess it depends. If we get, knowing, I think that would be more the case if Brunson was, straight questionable, but because they list him unlikely to play.
You think more people play quickly than Russell at the same price?
I guess that's fair. They both have
you can play both.
Position eligibility.
Yeah, you play both for sure.
Yeah. And then also, but on the flip side, a lot of people might just leave that position open because you could also play Simons if Dame doesn't play, right? He's also in this same pricing tier.
Slot in quickly, pivot to Simons if Dame's out or something.
Yep. Exactly.
I'm with you there. Markelle Fultz, we've been touting him for a bit. I mean, he has a 40-point ceiling. We've seen it a few times. He kind of settles into that 30 to 35 fantasy point range most nights. Great matchup for him. We've been picking on the Spurs all season long. He had 35 fantasy points in 24 minutes against San Antonio in an earlier matchup. It just, once again, it's how competitive is San Antonio going to be? The other day, I think they surprised hanging around there for a little bit against OKC because they were without Keldon and Trey Jones and all those guys sat out. And
Branham left that game.
Yeah, and they still kind of hung tough there for a bit, but I do like this spot for Markelle at $6,500.
Yeah, and Franz Wagner is questionable, so maybe a little boost there.
Yeah, probably boost all the guys then. I mean, Cole Anthony played 33 minutes the last time he took the floor. Jalen Suggs played 27 minutes when he took. So, I mean, all 3 of those guards have played heavy minutes lately. So, something to look at. Are you chasing Hayes or Corey Joseph here at all?
I mean, the Hayes thing is, he was dominating that game. He had 8 assists in the first quarter, and then he seemingly got benched, but apparently it was the leg, and he didn't play for 14 straight minutes and then closed the game. So I mean, he was on his way to a big game and then had a good game.
Right.
So you could play Hayes. I don't know what to make of Corey Joseph because this is not Corey Joseph is not a 22, 5, and 5 guy. But if they don't have able bodies, maybe, Yep. 12.5 point spread. I don't know if he's going to close in a blowout, though.
Okay.
But, can't deny that he's been good.
Right. Monty Morris starting at he's $4,500. It's cheaper, $5K cheaper than Delon Wright. Trey Jones is out. Branham is out. Devontae Graham's $5K.
Yeah, they started him last game. He went DMP. He DMP'd, and then they started him the next game.
Right. So I mean, I think Graham probably starts again here, right?
Yeah. Graham probably starts. DSJ is probably going to start. Maybe if DSJ starts. Well, is Oubre back actually? It's a good question. Oubre is probable, so I guess DSJ moved back to the bench. Yeah, can't play DSJ at 52 if he's back on the bench. Yeah, all the Orlando guys. Graham is going to be in play. And is Blake Wesley, he went
30
1
minutes.
of 12.
He did play 30 minutes in that game.
But he played 30 minutes. He's going to be pretty popular, I think.
Yeah, they recalled him from the G League ahead of that. He dropped 30 points the night before. So, you know.
He's one for
hey, our G League All-Star Hardy last night went off, so.
Yeah, he sure did. I mean, look, 3,100, they're without, Trey Jones, Branham.
They wore out like multiple plays, right, in that game.
Yeah, they didn't have Keldon. They didn't have Sohan. They lost Branham. They didn't have Trey Jones. It was Vassell, team to himself, 2 for 10 from the floor.
Yeah.
But
Wesley's a good call. They got to have guard depth behind Graham, so he's probably going to get on that floor. So if you want a dart throw at 8K, at 3K on an 8-game slate, I don't hate it. Shooting guard Devin Booker's at $10,100, 32 actual, 41 fantasy points last night. Tougher spot maybe in theory against Milwaukee, but I mean Golden State, pretty decent defensive team in general themselves. If you want to go there, Donnie Mitch at $9,600. I won't play him. Yeah, I didn't play him.
Ceiling. No Jared Allen, so there's a ceiling.
Didn't play him against Miami for the faithful out there, and he went for 55. But I mean, we're going down to Bradley Beal, right? 8,200. Mikal Bridges 78. Like that's kind of in the sweet spot for us. Oubre, as you mentioned, at 76. Like we've been playing a lot of that tier for a week or two now. So.
Yeah, the only thing about Beal is worry about blowout a little bit with Detroit, but if there's no Kuzma, huge usage bump to Beal, so I'd like that spot a lot. And then the Bridges thing, Bridges is like he's priced appropriately. I think it's hard. Like if I were to pay for one Brooklyn guy, it would like pay up. It would probably be Dinwiddie over Bridges.
Cheapest he's been in like 8 games though.
Yeah, I know, and there's still a ceiling. I'm just like, the games in which he's scoring 30 are the games that he's showing the ceiling, and the games that he's not reaching value. So like, we need him to score 30, and he's done it a bunch, but he hasn't like really been consistent in other categories. It's been like very wishy-washy, game to game basis, like. So we need the 30 actual. He can get there against OKC for sure, but we do need the points here.
What are we doing with Trey Murphy at 6K? I'm not saying he's going to go for 41 actual again, but he's been pretty decent.
Price depends on what Brandon Ingram. It's Brandon Ingram.
Yeah. Ingram's been out for how many games now?
A while.
Yeah, missed since 3-8. Trey Murphy's been out. I mean, Brandon Ingram's been out, so. We're looking at a couple of games at least here for Murphy, not having to deal with the Brandon Ingram experience. 2 games. So, but I mean, he went for 38 against Sacramento, 34 in that game that Ingram got hurt, and then obviously he popped off against Portland. If there's no Ingram, you're good with 6K here for Murphy.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer Vassell 61.
Do you? I mean, like my worry is that
he's playing minutes. He's just not making any shots.
Yeah, he's not really paying off the 6 to 61.
There's more opportunity. Like if Keldon were to sit, there's just more opportunity for Vassell.
Yeah, if people are out, I'll give you that. I'd go Vassell if Keldon gets ruled out again. That's fine. Other guys in the shooting guard range, we've discussed a few of them. Cam Reddish played 26 minutes the other day. I don't know if I want to chase the 54, but you do have a little bit of a revenge game, right? Traded from the Knicks.
Did not like the Knicks. He has made comments that
Thibodeau hated him. So
yeah, he said it had nothing to do with basketball. Is what he gave an interview to like the New York Post or something, and he said me not playing had nothing to do with basketball. So take that for what it's worth.
Was he just talking back to the coach then? I don't really understand what else that could mean. Josh Hart gets some flip side matchup there against his former team as well. Josh Okogie, we know, is going to get minutes there. Anybody in this lower tier shooting guard range for you?
Yeah, man, I don't hate Hart. with Brunson out, he's playing 30-plus minutes a night.
Yep.
Reddish would be fine as well if guys were to sit. Like if Lillard sits, if Grant sits, we know Reddish has a ceiling.
Who plays point guard for Denver if there's no Murray or Jackson?
Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown, okay.
Yeah, Bruce Brown. So my assumption is even if Jackson plays and Murray doesn't, I assume Bruce Brown would start at point guard anyway.
Okay.
That's just what they've done all year. Yeah. So they could just start Jackson, and that's obviously the direct. That makes sense, but Bruce Brown's been the guy starting all year, so that would be my assumption, which I don't hate, but Bruce Brown's let us down a lot this year.
Would you play Austin Reeves?
Probably a little priced out of my range.
Okay. Richardson's down here, played 28 minutes the other day. If there's no Ingram, he probably gets a bump.
He got blowout run in that game. So I don't know if they're I don't know what they're doing with their rotation, but he was on the floor to close up 30, so.
Okay.
Right. I don't know what that was about.
Anybody else down here?
Your boy Kispert playing 30 minutes. Had a big game.
Always playing 30 minutes. He is coming off of a ceiling game for him, 25 actual.
And Kuzma questionable.
Right.
So.
They played him over Denny, eh? Denny played
I assume so. If Kuzma were to sit, I assume Denny would start, but Kispert still gonna probably outplay him, right?
Sure.
That's just kind of how
it seems that way. Even though Denny had been a monster, it seemed like Denny better when Porzingis and Gafford were out. All right, small.
RJ Hampton.
Hampton. Okay.
RJ Hampton, 33. He played 24 minutes last night. Had 27 fantasy points.
Okay.
He's, again, I assume this Detroit team's going to be eerily similar to what they were on Monday.
Yeah. All right, small forward here, top price guy that is healthy, I guess, is Middleton. I mean, entering him was questionable. If Ingram plays today, he gets the Lakers matchup. We love the revenge games for Brandon Ingram against the Lakers. He's averaging 30 actual against the Lakers in 2 games this year. So, man is motivated against his former team. So if he's active, I like Middleton's 82. Would you play Banchero at 77? He's been showing out lately again. If there's no Franz, as you've mentioned. We've seen peaks and valleys with Banchero this year. Rookies tend to do that. Kate Cunningham last year finished ridiculously strong. We got 3 40-plus fantasy point games in the last 5. And 4 in the last 7 games for Banchero. Maybe he's starting to finish this one strong for himself as well.
Yeah, and 43 minutes in that Miami game. So, if there's no Franz, it's a huge deal for Banchero. So I assume multi-position eligibility, I would have absolutely no problem getting there.
Thoughts on Middleton here on a back-to-back?
I might not even play.
Okay. That's what I'm wondering. Do you think he plays? I mean...
No, I don't. He hasn't played a back-to-back yet this year. I mean, maybe because they're they have ramped him up. He played 34 minutes last night.
Yeah.
Had a huge game. It just doesn't seem it's not like they're going to play back-to-backs in the playoffs.
Right.
So, they don't necessarily need to play him on this back-to-back.
And their 1-seed lead is just expanding. So
yeah, they just don't lose.
Yeah. Just don't lose games.
So, maybe that opens up things for, Connaughton or Grayson Allen.
Sure.
Or Joe Ingles sat last night. Joe Ingles had been really good lately. 24-plus fantasy points in 4 straight games. So, I assume Middleton doesn't play. If he does play, then, I don't know, you can get to him.
Yeah. Toronto got 30 actual points from both Scotty Barnes and OG Anunoby the other day against the Lakers.
Dude.
I mean...
Figure out the Toronto Raptors, and you win a
the last 2 games for Scotty
$1,000,000.
Barnes, though, 21 and 19 shot attempts.
Yeah, it's great. No, it's great. It's great.
Do you play it against Denver, though? Why is he shooting so much? Right?
I don't know.
I like it. I like that he's shooting this much. But you certainly can't rely on him to shoot this much.
No, you cannot.
But he's always kind of a dart throw guy in the mid tier there. Gordon Hayward's shots have disappeared 9, 10, and 10 the last 3 games. I don't know what's going on with that. You guy was much more active. Tough matchup against Cleveland. RJ Barrett, we've talked about it with no Brunson. He's been really good outside of that one game against the Clippers. Only played 30 minutes in that one, but 38 minutes against the Lakers, 30 actual.
Brunson played a half of basketball in that game.
Is that what happened? Brunson played a half of basketball there?
He played a half and then didn't return.
Yeah. But, I mean, 29, 27, 25, and 30 actual in 4 of the last 5.
Yep. Super good.
RJ, dude, 20-plus shots in those games. It's like signing Jalen Brunson ruined the development of RJ Barrett a little bit there. Weird. 7K Barrett, though, great spot if there's no Jalen Brunson for sure. I imagine you would play Keldon at 67 if he's in.
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay. Cam J here at 61.
I mean, I assume he's going to go to the locker room in this game because he does that every game. He just goes to the locker room. Yeah, I mean, he's
fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
Anybody that's at value for small forward here? I mean,
the Milwaukee guys, right? Like depending on Middleton's
Najee
status.
Marshall, maybe. I mean, the minutes have been there.
That's
3
Ingram.
shot attempts though the other day. Gross.
Well, he's been starting for Ingram, so if Ingram comes back, he'll go back to the bench for sure.
No volume, no shooting volume for him.
Yeah, no shooting volume. It's been brutal. I mean, if the Spurs guys are out, like Bates Diop will play mid-20s. Where's McDermott? McDermott's been playing huge minutes.
Yeah, 26 minutes, 28 minutes, of 2 games prior.
I mean, if Keldon doesn't play, I assume the Cavs are going to start Lamar Stevens again. They started him sans Jared Allen. Right. They started him at power forward. So, Cleveland, it's a good matchup against Charlotte. If he plays 30 minutes again, could be okay. Magruder, another 32 minutes, 30 fantasy points.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's what is the power forward? Okay. Yeah, there's some moderately decent options down here. I don't see
nothing's really popping for me.
I don't think there's anything else, but I would unfortunately probably play Magruder at 3,500.
Okay.
So shooting guard, small forward, can't really beat that. And he's playing 30 minutes.
Sounds good. All right, power forward here. Giannis is at your top, coming on the back-to-back there last night, almost 70 fantasy points, 69, nice. 46, 12, and 4. 34 minutes in that game, 19 of 28 shooting.
46, actually.
Just
so good.
Dominating that matchup there. You got Julius Randle here against Portland. If you want to go 52 fantasy points, 33 actual for him the other day. I don't know. 99's fine. It's a good matchup for him, especially if Grant's out and Nurkic is not really playing. He's not going to have a hard time with that front court.
Yeah, it's a great spot. But I have no problem getting to either of those.
Yeah, and then but you go down, you have Porzingis here at 87.
Yep.
That's a plus matchup for him.
Potentially without Kuzma.
Yeah. Evan Mobley with no Jared Allen against Charlotte. No Mark Williams either. Not that that's a big deal, but Nick Richards is starting for Charlotte here. Mobley, great spot at 81.
I'd play Grant if he were to play and Dame did not.
Sure.
I would play Jeremy Grant.
Okay. I mean, Grant was good with Dame 3 of the last 4 anyways, so you could probably get to him. Obviously, if Giannis was to sit on a back-to-back, Bobby Portis would be super interesting here. Aaron Gordon isn't a guy that I've generally played, but he did have 40 fantasy points in this matchup the last time out. I don't know if you think that's repeatable for him or not. But
maybe if Jamal Murray doesn't play.
Okay. Any other power forwards here? Again, it feels like the depth just kind of drops off. A lot of guys we've touched upon. Amori started last night.
Yeah, he was awesome.
$3,800.
Yeah, he's gonna. There's no reason that he's not gonna start again. Dual position eligibility, 23, 27, 26, 32 minutes. Mm-hmm. Yep. I love Amiri in this spot. I don't hate Herb Jones if Brandon Ingram's out. Herb Jones is going to start, and anytime he hasn't been in foul trouble, he's been very productive without Brandon Ingram.
Sure.
30 fantasy points in 3 or 4. I would play Sohan if he's in the lineup. especially if like Keldon were to sit. And then we get to value like Denny. If Denny were to start, sure.
Yeah. I mean, if Kuzma's out, Denny should see more minutes probably anyways.
Yeah. Sure.
So that's fine. I mean, the guy's been really, when he gets the opportunity, he's a pretty good rebounder. Then, naturally some other stats will kind of flow in for you. So I don't hate it. Especially in this matchup against Detroit. I think there's some potential for him there.
Yeah, and the blowout risk too. Like he might just play because of blowout. Yeah. But that's like Kai Jones is backing up Nick Richards, and I know 13 minutes on the surface looks bad. Fouled out in 13 minutes. Yeah. Like there's obviously
he played 18 against Utah, so I mean like maybe 18, 19 is his ceiling.
Yeah, I think like the 28-20 or like 30-18 minute split between Richards and Kai Jones is like viable and 20 fantasy points.
We didn't talk PJ Washington because I think he's too expensive, but I mean 32 minutes, shot attempts have been pretty good lately.
No Oubre in that game though, so like I don't know if I know the shot attempts have been there. I don't know. Okay. 67 feels a little.
That's fine.
Meh.
All right, center position then. Joker's at 10, 11, 6. As I mentioned, we had this matchup already. He only took 8 shots, but still nearly triple-doubled in that game. I don't know. 8 shots feels like an anomaly. He by 24 and 23 the last 2.
Dude, his last 2 games. His last 2 games are ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, like the San Antonio game, we were sitting here saying that was going to be like a 30-point blowout. And they lost. They
outright lost.
So, 37-11-11. But then against Brooklyn, he goes 35-20 and 11.
He's ridiculous.
I mean, listen, I know he's stat padding and all, but
yeah, true. We forgot. Yeah, he's not actually that good. He just stat pads.
Does he only take 8 shots again against Toronto? That seems difficult.
Again, if Jamal Murray doesn't play and he takes 8 shots, he needs to be investigated for fraud.
Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, Jokic, just monster. Anthony Davis against the Pelicans, we know. Guy's averaging almost 60 fantasy points in 3 games against the Pelicans this year. Coming off of a 50 fantasy point game against the Knicks, 17 and 16 in that game. He had a 30 and 20 game against Memphis a couple games prior. I mean, it's a discount, right? Like, you shouldn't be ashamed of playing AD over Jokic if you need the money.
There's no problem getting to Davis. Yeah. And you got to think, he's a 55% shooter. If he shoots 55% last game, we're talking, 55 fantasy points. Or, also, he's not getting to the line recently. That's obviously going to change soon, too. It's only up from here for Anthony.
Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it too. So I like AD a lot at 10-8 here. Yeah. We've talked about Zinger, Mobley. Burlow was good last night. I don't know if you want to run it back with him or not. I mean, with Giannis,
I'm not getting. I know, but 7-7.
He's been so good. Look at the block. I mean, the block party.
The 9 block game was just. Sure. I mean, that's.
But 5 against Golden State, 3 against Sacramento. The rebounds, 10, 7, and 8. This man used to be allergic to the glass.
He did.
He's got
really
3 double-digit rebound games in the last 10.
He really did.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think anybody's going to play him, but...
No. You don't need to think that. That is accurate.
Nobody's playing him here.
Nobody's playing him.
Wiseman was good last night. Double-doubled. Only played 24 minutes in that game, but still 18 and 14, 3 blocks. I don't know if you want to pay the 69.
I think we said it yesterday, right? Him and Dern are just going to split time.
Sure.
They're not going to play together. They're just going to split time. So if you can stomach 24 minutes at 69, be my guest.
Claxton, you and I sat here against that Minnesota game. I said I thought Gobert had a higher ceiling because of the minutes, and then Claxton played 35. Gobert did outperform him, but I mean, Claxton still got the minutes, which he hadn't been getting, and he went right back down to 28 against Denver.
I know. It's great.
But OKC is an elite spot for Nick Claxton if he could play 35 minutes here. So I don't mind. I think this is going to be a kind of a popular game stack to be part of, where you play SGA and then maybe Jalen Williams, who we didn't even talk about. Yep. But maybe he could be a guy you throw in a lineup, and then you just play Brooklyn guys on the other side of that.
Run it back with Dinwiddie or Bridges,
Claxton, just go that direction. So I like Claxton at 66.
I like Pirtle and Ayton I don't know if you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I skipped over them for me personally. I mean, I guess Ayton's fine. I mean, obviously he's been really good lately. This matchup to me feels like it's a tougher spot than Golden State and Sacramento, but I don't know. I'm looking at price points here. At $7,400, are you paying for Ayton, or would you rather save a little bit of money and go down, or find money to get the Mobley?
You're not wrong about like getting to Claxton. I think Claxton is per dollar a better play, but like Ayton's minutes are far more secure right now, 35, 37 in 2 competitive games.
Yeah.
And he's gone for 40 plus 20 point double-doubles in each of those games. Mm-hmm. And then Pirtle, we worry about foul trouble. Well, he 1 rebound shy of a double-double in this game. He's kind of been a monster, and they're just not playing Gary Trent anymore. I mean, Gary Trent can't make a shot. So it's like now, because of that, now Pirtle's just on the floor. This mid-tier is just the mid-tier in general is just interesting to me.
63. Wendell Carter played 42 minutes against Miami in that game.
It was overtime. No. Thinking about it, it was overtime.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, the fact that he was just on the floor that much.
On the floor, right. No, I was just thinking because I saw the Banchero minutes too, and I'm like, wait a second. But I forgot Orlando just made every shot they took.
Right. No, they did. They made everything the other night. But it's still, like, that means he was on pace for, like, 35 minutes in a non-overtime game, right? Sure. So, a good spot against San Antonio here for Wendell Collins. Zach Collins on the flip side of that, 30 minutes probably in his bag here.
Dude, he was in early foul trouble in that game, by the way, and still played 30 minutes and still went nuts. So, yeah.
No, he's a good player. He's a good player. Portland gave up on him. They had other guys to play over him. So, what are you going to do? Jalen Duran, as you mentioned, just kind of time sharing, but he went for another double-double in his 20 minutes. I mean, I'm not going to pay $5,500 for 20 minutes, but it's funny to see him continue to play that way. Mitchell Robinson, again, I don't know what's going on the other night. Just 24 minutes in that game against the Lakers. Wasn't even foul trouble.
Yeah, we talked about it, right? Didn't we? Hartenstein just
Hartenstein had 10 rebounds. Like, I don't know what happened there. I'd be willing to go there. I don't know if it was a back-to-back problem. I mean, they played on the 11th. He played 24. I don't know. I'm willing to run it back at $5,100 for Mitch Rob because he was playing minutes and giving you double-doubles all the games pretty much prior to that. So I'm good with Mitch Robinson. And then Nick Richards in a tough spot against Cleveland. He's at $5K as well.
Yeah, I think both are, like, fine. Obviously, feel a little better about Richards' minutes than Robinson's, I think. Sure. Also, Richards, 42, 32, 33 fantasy points.
He's been balling out.
Pretty good.
Well, you already said that coming off the bench when he's playing like 18 minutes, he would pop off.
It's just we didn't know if it was him or Mark Williams. Depending, it was the wild west in Charlotte.
Yeah, the difference between Nick Richards and Mark Williams, it seems like in the 3 games Richards plays, he wasn't in foul trouble. Mark Williams gets into foul trouble, so
that's very accurate. Would you play him in this spot against Mobley? Because they started Mobley.
So I don't mind this because there's no Jared Allen. Sure. If you put Mobley and Allen in that front court, and it's a different animal. Now you're only dealing with one of them. That makes it a little bit of an easier matchup, in my opinion.
Okay, I agree. I agree.
So I'm good there, and then I got nothing down below. I don't know if there's anybody for you. We talked about Yamori already.
I don't think there's anything.
The other Jalen Williams played 26 minutes against San Antonio, but you just never know what that guy's going to be on the floor for.
Yeah, he's going to start probably, and then good luck figuring out after that. Right. I will say, I don't know if you saw Alexei Pokusevski in the G League.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to return, but just gearing up for that just to make our lives a little bit easier.
We played him. He was having a good night, and then he broke his leg.
Yeah. I'm super excited for Pokusevski to be back, and then we just have more Thunder players.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, let's build the lineup here. Who's our number one entry? Is it SGA?
Yeah, I'm really hard pressed not to play SGA.
Okay, $5,800 SGA in the lineup.
5,800.
Sorry, $5,800 left. $9,400 for SGA.
What kind of discount is DraftKings giving you?
Yeah, DraftKings promo boost, man. Now that the sportsbooks there, I get discounted players.
You get legal betting, and they give you discounts on your DFS lineups too. Must be nice.
That's what happens.
Boy, how that would be fair.
That
Imagine
would
that was the thing.
be interesting.
Um,
And who's our number 2?
so we plug. If we're assuming Detroit is status quo, Omaguri,
Okay.
I think is kind of a must. If he's gonna play 30 minutes, and he's in foul trouble, so like,
Yeah,
what could it have been more?
I'm good. I mean, he's going to go up against Porzingis tonight, so he could certainly get into foul trouble.
True. Sometimes because they will start Gafford, but like
yeah, he played 21 minutes the other day, so
we know that Gafford isn't going to be on the floor all that much. Is anyone else from Detroit like a priority for you?
No.
Just, like given their prices?
Nope.
No.
Nope, not for me. We didn't really hit a lot of like real value. Like the under 5K range, there wasn't a ton that we loved. We're obviously waiting on some news here, but like, Devontae Graham's 5K, Blake Wesley played 30 minutes. Maybe he's our punt.
Yeah, we can punt Wesley. Okay, he's fine.
We'll punt
Wesley. We might not even need to if we're spending up. SGA is like the highest price guy
I wasn't sure what we were going to do at center. Were we going to play Jokic or Anthony Davis? If we play Jokic and SGA, it's $5,500 a player right now.
I feel like we don't need to.
If we play SGA and Davis, it's 57th. But I'm just saying, like, it's reasonable salary remaining, $5,500 a player with Jokic and Gilgeous-Alexander. I think people will get there tonight. Personally.
Yeah.
But we can keep playing if you want. Without Jokic, it's $6,700 a player.
I don't hate it. I think if we play one of those spend-up centers, we're not getting any of that Knicks Portland, like the Knicks game.
Do we want that? Do we want Brooklyn side of this as well? Dinwiddie?
Yeah, like we don't get the Brooklyn. If we play Jokic, I don't think we get Brooklyn.
Right.
Like, right?
Probably not.
Or Davis. Like, we probably can't afford a Dinwiddie or a Bridges.
Well, no. I mean, if we play Davis at $5,700, would you rather Dinwiddie or Bridges here?
I lean Dinwiddie.
Okay.
But if you lean, I'm okay with both.
No, that's fine. I'm just fooling around with some lines here. So,
you plugged Wesley, right?
Yes. With Dinwiddie in, and I just clicked Dinwiddie and Claxton. It gave us $4,250 for a small forward and a forward. I don't know if we had any other like.
It's Magruder,
right?
35.
$5K for a forward. If we wanted to
just go to find someone on Detroit and pick.
Right.
We're 200 off like Herb. 200 off of Kogi.
Najee Marshall if he was to start there. Kispert's 39. Again, we don't have to do that. I was just playing around if we wanted to go Claxton also to double stack, but take out Claxton, take out Magruder. It's $5K a play with Dinwiddie for a small forward and a utility.
Small forward utility.
Kind of the same player pool, but like Nick Richards is a 5K is there. Devontae Graham could be a utility spot as well at 5K, but we have Wesley in the lineup already. Josh Richards, but we don't know the status of Ingram there. Monty Morris is 45, another guard. A lot of guard value, it seems like. So,
yeah.
And it sucks that Bridges is not a shooting guard, small forward eligible
for no reason whatsoever. Like, there's no reason he's not both those positions.
Yep.
What are we doing?
Would you rather D'Angelo Russell instead of Dinwiddie to save some cash, or do you want Dinwiddie?
We have Jokic.
We have Davis, so we'd stack that Lakers-Pelicans game, potentially, I guess.
Well, I guess we don't need, like, a run back. We could just play him.
True.
I wouldn't...
I'm just thinking money-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against... I was never, like, fully... Yeah, I like Russell.
It doesn't give us a ton more, but it gives us, like, 53 a player instead of 5K a player.
I mean, I think if we want salary, we play Magruder at 35.
Sure.
He's going to start and play 30 minutes.
That's fine. So Magruder's at small forward. That gives us a 6,100 forward and utility play. What is that? Just, I think we looked at this already, but A $4,500 forward if we played, which we don't really have the spot for, right? If we played Dinwiddie, it'd be a $4,500 forward.
Well, if you play, how about you play R.J. Barrett at forward?
What about a $5,700 forward? Do you like Sohan here or Reddish or Hart? Because that's what Nick Claxton at utility.
Yeah, I just don't like I hate, like, I've really realized that, like, it's hard to use two centers just, like, without the position eligibility, just because, like, it gives you no flexibility if people are
out.
Like, yeah, and then there's, like, we're locking in, like, an 8 p.m. game target, which is fine. I'm not, like, opposed to not, just, like, the roster flexibility is tougher with the
So
I'm not
we have 6,100 for forward in a utility play. We like Sohan. We just don't know if he's going to be.
Yeah, we just don't know if he's. Yeah. What if you did RJB at forward?
RJ Barrett. Where is he?
7K.
$5,300 util. Which I don't mind there. And then that gives us, Jalen Suggs, Bruce Brown, Mitch Robb, Nick Richards, guys.
Who's your favorite of that group? If we did RJ Barrett, we don't have to, but
no, I like RJ Barrett, dude. He's been killing it. Probably Nick Richards.
Yeah, probably Nick Richards. It's unfortunate that's we have a 7 p.m. game in our.
I mean, we could play Devontae Graham at 5K, but then we'd be playing both Wesley and
Wesley,
Graham.
Yeah. Richards is fine. Richards is.
I mean, we can swap. Well, Davis is in that same 8K spot. I mean, we can swap Davis in the util. He's 8K. The 8 p.m. start, rather, if you really worry about that.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right, so this is where we're at. Obviously, again, if you want to go mid-tier center, play Porzingis instead of Davis or something, you can open up a lot more salary for you guys. But Gilgeous-Alexander, Wesley, Magruder, Yamori, Omoroy? I've been pronouncing his name incorrectly this whole time, but
Omoyuri.
There we go. Davis, Russell, Barrett, and Richards is the lineup we got going on there today. Ray Kuhn, I believe, is on your playbook. And we will be in the Discord all day. If you have any questions, find us there. Injury updates as well. James and I will be back for Wednesday. Good luck. We'll talk to you guys later.